Yeah.
Thank you. Okay, we're going to be starting this meeting shortly. A reminder to everybody up here on the board, make sure the mic is close to your mouth when you speak. Mr. Madison, you get up or you're walking around or something, please carry the mic with you when you're talking to everybody. And if anybody wishes to address us, you have to come on up and use this mic right here. We're trying to make sure everything gets recorded, okay? Okay. Order calling the public hearing in the matter of the increase in the maximum amount to be expended for Water District Number 10 for the town of Barry, Orleans County, New York. Whereas the town board of the town of Barry duly adopted a resolution directing MRB Group PC to supervise the preparation of a revised plan, report, and map for providing water improvement, water mains, fire hydrants, and all related equipment in portions of the town of Barry, said area known at Town of Barry Water District Number 10. And whereas the boundaries of the proposed water improvement benefited area are set forth in Schedule A attached hereto and made a part hereof. Whereas the proposed water improvement will include approximately 23,350 linear feet of 8-inch PVC and HDPE water main, valves, hydrants along Angevine, McNamara, and Transit roads in the town of Barry and connect to existing water mains in the town of Barry Water District Number 3 near the intersection of Oak Orchard Road and Angevine Road, as well as Water District Number 4 near the intersection of East Barry Road and Angevine Road. The water distribution system will be constructed in one or more phases or contracts and will be installed within or alongside of the road right-of-ways within the proposed water improvement benefit area that do not have public water. Whereas on or about August 3rd, 2023, MRB Group PC duly filed said plan, report, and map in the office of the town clerk of the town of Barry, and whereas the maximum amount proposed to be expended for the water improvement, including the cost of construction, easements, engineering fees, legal fees, and financing fees, was $1,100,000, whereas the revised estimate for the such cost is now $2,125,000. And whereas the cost of construction in said water system shall be paid from the issuance of bonds, notes, certificates, or other indebtedness of the town of Barry for a period not to exceed 38 years, and from a grant from the United States Department of Agriculture in the amount of $1,101,000. And whereas it is proposed that the cost of said water improvements be apportioned paid as follows. Upon final approval of the increase of the maximum amount to be expended, $500,000 by the issuance of notes and general obligation bonds payable over a period of 38 years at an interest rate not to exceed 2.125% per year, and $500,000 $24,000 by the issuance of notes and general obligation grant from the Rural Development Agency of the U.S. Department of Agriculture of $1,101,000. And whereas a map plan and report describing such water improvement as on file in the office of the town clerk of the town of Barry and available for public inspection during regular business hours. And whereas it is estimated that the annual cost to the typical one or two family home after the first year will be $1,080 and $26. $1,080 and 26 cents, and that the first year cost will be $3,185 and 26. Both of these estimates include debt repayment of principal and interest and the purchase of water and an amount to be paid into a repair reserve account. Now, therefore, it is hereby ordered that a meeting of the town board of the said town of Barry shall be held at the Barry Town Hall located at 1437 West Barry Road in the town of Barry, New York, on the 29th day of August 2023 at 7 p.m. in the evening of that day to consider the increase in the maximum amount to be expended for said water improvement and to hear all persons interested in the subject thereof and for each other action on the vote of said town board with relation to the said water improvement as may be proper or required by law. And it is further ordered that the town clerk of the town of Barry is hereby authorized and directed to publish a copy of this order in the official newspaper of the town and post a copy of the same on the bulletin board in the office of the town clerk not less than 10 days, but more than 20 days prior to the date and set for said public hearing dated August 9th, 2023, Maureen Beach Town Clerk. Therefore, I now call this meeting is open and in order. Thank you. Yes.
And the code is not. I think they went in and chosen
Welch's.
Bridget and Lee, if you want to just, oh, Lee
Great.
says it's working now, so maybe it was just muted. You could just text Bridget the dial-in code.
I was going to say Bridget could call in my phone. I'll just hold it right here.
Whatever would be easier for you.
I'll just call her.
How many households? So there is 57 total parcels in the
Can you
district,
hear us?
30 homes to be looked at.
Okay. You want to listen on the phone as well? Just you want to interact?
How many paying?
Okay.
So 30 people will pay.
Microphone, please.
full-
Scott, pull the mic over a little closer to you, please.
So
Thank you.
30 homes will pay the full $1,080.26. There is 14 half EDUs, which will each pay half. That's how you come up with the 37.
And that would be the same. That would be the same for that first.
So the first year cost is a little bit rough. So the $1,080.26.
Yep.
That is the maximum amount of the debt service for the project. On top of that, you have a water storage tank painting fee of $60 and an estimated purchase of water based on 60,000 gallons a year of $345 based on the current rates. So they're saying second year and beyond estimated cost $1,485.26. So long-term bonding cannot be exceeded. the $60 what the current fee is, $345 is based on an estimate of that amount of water at the current rate. The estimated cost for the first year includes the installation of a water service. So people are responsible for installing their own water service from the right of way to the home. That's estimated at $1,200. They have to do internal plumbing changes in order to disconnect the well supply or separate it, whatever that entails. Estimated at $150. They need to pay the town for the water meter, which is $350. You have the repayment of the long-term bonding on over 10 to 26, water tank, storage tank payment fee of $60, and the estimated purchase price of $60,000. So that's how you come up with the estimated first year cost, $3,185.
Folks, anybody there have a question? I'm sorry, this is Scott Madison. He's the engineer in charge for this from MRB Group. I inadvertently forgot to introduce him. I'm sorry. Yes, ma'am. We'll probably handle it the same way as we did in the past. In this water district, basically, it comes out of the grant. We have that grant on top. So yes, it's in there because that's got to be paid for, but more than likely it's going to come out of the grant itself.
So, yeah, like you said, there's installation of water service, internal plumbing changes, meter. Those are all estimates. Essentially, the meter from the town, that's what I heard from Dale Brooks, but as supervisor explained, I believe if there's enough contingency left, I will then use that contingency instead of turning. As far as the actual cost, the repayment of the long-term bonding is $1,080.26. So that is the actual cost that you will see as a line item on your tax bill for a special district charge. That is a 38-year term. There's actually two different interest rates because they have to go back and get additional funding. So the annual debt service, that $1,080.26, is based on borrowing $500,000 at 2.125% for 38 years, as well along with $524,000 at 2.25% for 38 years. So the debt service for the project itself is typically a line item for a special district charging tax bill. I don't know what other ones you guys have, but a lot of times you'll have like fire district charge, things like that, that is still at the bottom of the tax bill. Show for that.
So I have a question for, is this the letter that was in our mailbox? Is this the letter that the residents got? That were anti transit?
Yes.
Okay. So they are not aware of the charges, because the charges are supposed to be on. So that's
This was just for the meeting, yes. For them to find out what the charges would be. And a lot where the line was going, I know that Jeannie, myself, and a couple of other people have been out like 4 different times for the signing of the petitions to make sure people wanted it. And we had at that time let people know where it is running, where the water line would be running. So you should be aware of it.
Yeah.
Plus, you could also contact the office. You could have called in and asked in the office as well.
At our last town board meeting, when we made the resolution for this public hearing, the question came up specifically about making sure that the cost would be included in the letter that was sent out. That's why we're just asking. I know in the past that hasn't necessarily been something that's done, but because we did feel like this is a significant amount of money, we just want to make sure that everyone is aware and so that people can choose to attend this meeting and get more information if they need it or not. So I think that's just why he brought that up, is that was something that we specifically asked to be included in the letter sent out.
This was going to go out to bid back in 2019, early 2020. And as we all know, COVID hit at that time. Jobs were frozen. Contractors were not even allowed to go on out and work on any projects. Costs of materials skyrocketed. And we put everything on hold, trying to keep the costs as low as possible. Now prices on a lot of the materials have come down, not back to what they were pre-COVID, but the prices have come down. And because of people in Water District 10 that have contacted me, and we checked, and in talking with Scott, we thought that this might be the time. Prices aren't going to go much lower anymore, that now is the time to get this project rolling. Now, the debt service pre-2020 versus how much it is at this time is approximately about $300 and some odd, Scott? Yeah, it's $300 a year more in debt service. So it would have been a great deal more if we had moved a couple years ago. But at this time, that's about the best deal we can do at this time if people do still desire to get water in their homes.
So what I'm concerned about is when I hate when people that post complaints about what they're paying. I looked into it. I was looking. This is what you're paying. Minority, so everybody wanted, and it will raise your property values. It will be quick. They weren't even tied into. But, you know, your neighbors wanted it. When I said this all along, I agree with the project. I think the project is good, but I want it to be a majority. Majority that people want. And I think that they need to know the information and what they're signing up. And if they don't know this and it becomes a surprise for them, I would like them to all know what prices are going to, so they know what they're signing.
George, number one, petitions. The majority signed up. Number two, the costs. That's why we're having a public hearing. A public hearing, George.
So if they don't know the cost, they're probably not going to be here.
That's one reason it's being recorded as well.
Again, if they're not, if I saw these numbers, I'd say, yeah, I want to know more about it. If I just got this letter, it's like, a lot of this, but that's good.
Right.
So what you're saying, Gene, is that there should have been 37 parcels. You got at least 25. I'm okay with it. That's what I want.
In doing the petitions, at the very top of the petition, it stated how much the project would cost and how much the debt service would be each year per household. Yes, per EDU. Okay, so they, as Jeannie just pointed out, and that was required when we took the petitions around. We had to make that clear to every house owner. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Information is the best policy. But rural numbers right now, it's the impact of carbon. Water. Where is my building? Side of the light. What's the cost gonna be if we choose now to look it up? The penalize the water. Don't hook up the box in the ground, gotta dig up. And it's gonna cost the price of $1,000. After the fact. Is that no to anything? So. Grant information. When was the latest grant that was applied for? That's a huge difference. We're going through it right now in environment. There's new grants that are out there for. Is that not? Where is that information? So we know that we have a breakdown. Also, the startups. What is it? Is it gonna make $1,000 for filing in the courthouse like other districts and other towns just to keep the well? What are our options for doing it? What are the options for having the well shut down? Where specifically? What are the educated decision? The same thing construction. Okay, you're saying that the bond is gonna be 30 years, 38 years, excuse me. What's the life of the pipe? Other townships that we have, it's 20 years. Am I gonna be paying for a bond 38 years? The next time we replace it. That is smart business move for this town. I'd like to see some information. I might have a piece of paper. I think that this meeting should be tabled so the public knows what's going on. And especially with the property. You know, the grant side. It's up. They're doing it on Wallace Corner Road. They're doing it on Roll Extension, or you're at another. From this meeting. That's so.
You want to address any of those, Scott? She
Can't
had
recall
a,
them, but I can tell you the top whatever it was, it was the exact same grant. This. Last 6
that the sky is pink, if I got a piece of paper that says the sky is pink, I can go back to it and say, this is exactly what it counts.
I'm here for a public hearing. I've been asked by
But information to the.
not, it's not public information, it's a public hearing. It could be for anything that they want it to be. I was asked to come here for public. Hearing.
And you received that letter when, ma'am? Yep. Okay. And you have questions? Did you start formulating those questions then or just tonight? You can, ma'am.
Absolutely ask questions.
Yep. You asked about that bond, that added grant, and as Scott pointed out, that was in the last 6 months that we applied for it. And we were granted the additional funds from the federal government to help pay for this water district. That's the additional $500,000. 1,000,001.
So
Yes.
total project cost, 2,125,000. Total amount of USDA rural development and $1,101,000. Net local share, 1,024,000. As we touched on before, it's split into two different amounts. $500,000 loan, 2.125% for 38 years, $524,000 grant, 2.25. So any information you're looking for should be on file with the town. Town has copies of the original engineering report, ended engineering report, copies of the bid documents, and specification. What else? They would do that?
Years.
6 copies, please. That's
That into the side. So,
When you said, USDA. To that platform, for the cost of the ground. You said this was a grant, they're really just two grants to get. It's not a grant. I look at it. Right. So, say, that's free money, so we still gotta pay it. Yeah. Change it for enough.
So Scott, just for clarification purposes, if I'm like an actual home that's a full EDU, and that would be the debt services every year that would be added to my taxes would be $1,080.26. The not to exceed. So it cannot be any more than that amount. And then the first year, it's still that same amount that'll be on the taxes, but the additional $2,000 is estimated for your actual water usage, for hooking up from the line to your home, and from redoing the plumbing and getting the meter. So those are all things that those prices, it's just an estimate, and it can vary depending on, you know, who you hire to do it or how much supplies cost at that time. But that's the breakdown of that additional for that first year, right?
Yes, that's it. Or
Right, right.
complete us self with material you already have. Hire a contractor, you're much farther off the road than the average.
Okay. So then, two additional questions with that. Or I guess just making sure that I'm understanding and kind of clarification points. One is that if I choose not to hook up, I still am going to get that $1,080.26 on my bill or on my tax roll. And then if so, Mrs. Starowitz is talking about her building is a storage facility. Is that counted as is that one of the half EDUs, or is that counted as a full EDU?
Does it have an actual address? Taxi. I would have to know either the location, the address, the tax ID. The town does have latest engineering report. And
Would you-
it's
I just gave them a
Appendix D
copy
is
of page 9 from the newest engineering report.
Appendix E is the parcel list, gives all the parcel information as well as what the unit charge is.
Okay.
I would just need to know one of those. Is it, you know, if it's on map or is it on? 30 homes and 14 vacant parcels that are. Fifty, 57 total parcels. Yep. Yep. All right, so it's either because they don't meet zoning, so they're unbuildable, or because it's far. That's a question. For the- What exactly that exemption? So. Any building that connects. Cannot be. Yeah.
Okay, on the floor. It's on the floor.
I think I might have it. Hold on, no. It's not under never mind. That's Angevine land. Hold on.
It exceeds one. At this point, PVC pipe, you know that it will last for at least 40 years. We haven't got to the point of PVC pipe has failed regularly enough to say that, well, 40 or 41 or 50 is on it. We know that that's PVC pipe. Development only offers.
Not a lot of people.
Very good. It's $15,000. It's the same with every job. They have performance, payment bonding, but they have. So we provide full-time inspection. Don't know what that. High or. There's a 1-year warranty period. The town has the opportunity, while as local development, go through inspection all the way through that year. We know things that we have full-time inspection.
Speaking, I would. Yes.
O'Toole, town attorney. I hear the residents' concerns, but I just want to remind everyone that the topic of this public hearing is the rate increase and not the contract with the general contractor, and that those concerns, I think, could be handled in a different forum. Well, we let anyone else who has public comments about specifically about the rate increase. go forward.
So the attorney is telling me that
Your questions are not covered by this public hearing, which is about the rate increase. And that I'm sure that anyone would be happy to talk to you about your questions, but that's not the purpose of this meeting today.
I just wanted, what I started to say is that I worked with 2 water districts. And I can say that with MRB, and we have been right there. They have a full-time person that's right there inspecting exactly what they're doing every single day. And that we've had weekly site meetings. We've been right there, and we've looked everything over, and that's including the highway superintendent. If something doesn't look right, is not correct, we question it. We find out what the story is, if there needs to be a correction to it, because I'm not an engineer, I don't know what's going on, so I have questions. If there is corrections that need to be made, then they do them. And then at the end, superintendent goes through, he checks everything out. They have a checklist of what needs to be covered yet, and that gets handed over. Scott would be notified of that, as well as the contractor, and they come back and they are to do that. And I can say from the past 2 projects, I've only known of one little situation where we had some sinking that took place over the winter, and we had to do some work because it was creating a pond in the front yard of one person. We corrected that, and that was it. Otherwise, we've had no problems with any of the other water lines that I know of that we put in. We take a look, at least speak on behalf of the superintendent and myself. If that was our yard, how would we want it to be? We take a personal interest in that.
So my question was, Brittany just brought up that this is a rate increase. And again, I'll say I wish that they had the prices on here for the letter that went out to the people so they knew. But what I'm gonna ask Jean is when she put what was the rate that you quoted to the people that the second?
Being the first time around,
No, second, when the rates, and if they know the rate in.
right there.
Okay. So where was the price for the charge?
The projected cost.
I mean, you're telling me the project, if I was a homeowner, I'd say,
Yeah,
I don't
that's
care
the
about
project.
I wanna know what it's gonna cost me.
Annual debt service per parcel with a grant.
Okay, so that number that you just showed me is,
About 600.
well, it's 418 in there. So 418 to 1080, that's. more than a-
%
that's
increase.
Yeah. I think that people need to know. I think that, again, I'll say it, I agree with the project, I think it's good, but I wanna see a majority that know the facts, like Garvin's saying, and before they make the decision and say, yeah, I'm signing up.
And to your question earlier, I finally found it going through all my paperwork here. You have a half debt service on your parcel. That went out went out like a day or 2 after we sent into the newspaper. We did them both at the same time. So
Statutory requirements on the maximum number of days that we could have sent that out. We could not send it out with any more than 20 days notice.
Yes, sir. Upon approval, what I think we would see this occurring in telling the contractor that he has the job would be like late spring, early summer. Do you think that would be about the right time frame, Scott?
If this was going to move forward with construction, you're asking?
Yeah.
Yeah, so at this point, in order to move forward with construction, the biggest obstacle is going to be New York State Comptroller approval.
Yes.
Completely up to them, whether Bridget has an idea of how long it's gonna take, but I mean, 6 to 8 months, it's possible.
After this public hearing, our town attorney has to submit the information to the New York State Comptroller's office. And then they give us that final approval for this to go through. So once again, it's bureaucracy at its best.
Scott, everything that's been done in this town board in this project is pretty standard water districts.
Absolutely. Yeah, so, I mean, if you wanted to go back through everything from right from the beginning, I can find it as well, but you would have received engineering reports, probably multiple iterations of engineering reports that should all be on file. You have the newest engineering report on file, multiple plans and specification sets that the town would have reviewed and changed, including the bid set, which is what we bid. And obviously the bid tab with the results of all that bidding. So this, I mean, I've got my time on here. I can tell you that the original engineering report was dated June 12th, 2000. June 12th, 2018. Price pipe of 8-inch PVC pipe, $7.60. On 8/3/23, the date of my newest report, price of PVC pipe, same size material, is $27. Almost $20 a foot. My agreement to do the design of the project was signed in August 12th, 2019. In April 24th of 2020, I received the last permit needed to go to construction. Sean talked about there's civil thing that had been sent.
So this is nothing out of, nothing out of.
No, I mean, this project is not alone. We've done the exact same thing in the town of Bergen is what we've done here. Got it to the end, bid it, went back, asked for additional funding, spent that time to get it through the whole process again, get it. Town of Byron, after what happened in Bergen, saw that coming. They immediately requested additional funding so that while they were going to the comptroller, we were still working on the design permits and approvals. So they avoided some of that. This project was already done and designed at that. So that's why we put it out to bid to see exactly where it was. We didn't have to guess. So the grants have been allocated to the town. Essentially, the town has to satisfy all the requirements with project construction. Biggest of which at this point would be. They're not gonna wait forever. No, but no, you're not gonna, so the. No, but the thing you need to be worried about is prices change. This contractor will not and does not need to hold his price for forever. We've already exceeded the amount of time he needs to hold his price. At this point, he's willing to hold his price till at least November. If something changes, we may end up having to rebid it at an additional cost, go to the next bidder, give a change order for the increase in material costs. There's not a ton of contingency built in. If you exceed that contingency, we'll right back here once again. The project has not been awarded. The project has been bid. If there's a low bidder, he's willing to hold his price. like I said, the project has not been awarded. There's a bid date, there's an end date as far as bidding. Off the top of my head, I couldn't tell you, but we have a bid tab somewhere with it, which will say. Basically, you advertise it, you collect the bids and open them, public bidding, and that's the end of it. It doesn't run on forever. There has to be a date where you stop it.
And it was the lowest bid that I'm talking about.
Correct. At this point, they're willing to hold their price. If not, then we have to get together with rural development and figure out what the next step is, whether that means on the second or third bidder or we bid in the product. At this point, he's willing to hold it to November. Possible. Absolutely.
I know myself, 10 years in contract. I got a contract, I have to apply for that contract.
That's the problem here. He has not signed a contract. We cannot give him a contract. If we sign a contract for his bid prices. Correct. The town cannot award the project until rural development is satisfied. Part of that's gonna be. Right, that's what I mean. The longer this takes, more of a possibility.
Bridget? Okay, what's our footing as a town? The last petition that went out, the people signed that it was $500 was okay. And now the new is 1080.
Yep.
If we went by that and didn't take, give them the option to, sign or say yes on that, what's our footing in?
This process that we are undertaking tonight is an approved process. It is completely legal. That's what we have followed the procedure to the letter in terms of the notice requirements. And this is a way to do that without going out and knocking on everyone's door again. Because if we had done that, this project, these numbers would go stale and we would have to put it out to bid and start the process all over again.
Okay, but what I'm saying.
I understand, but the notice that was mailed fit the legal requirements. I understand, the concern that you would have liked it to have included more, but I'm in terms of your legal question, it fit all of the requirements of the standard notice, and I can tell you it is identical to the notice that the residents of the town of Byron got when they went through this exact same process. You say we had a public notice, you received public notice that the rate would be increased.
They got the note.
But the number was in the notice.
The number was not in the minute.
It wasn't in the.
The number was not in.
Wait, hold on. I think we need to clarify a little bit here. There was a we had to legally, it had to be posted in the Batavia Daily, right? And what was posted in the Batavia Daily did have the numbers, correct?
Yes.
So, but what was mailed out did not. And that's where, for us, and again, this goes back to, it was specifically asked for at the last town board meeting so that we wouldn't have to have this type of discussion, because the idea was, we understand that the rate went up. We understand that this is a water district that a lot of people want and need, but we also have to make sure that they still want it with the price doubling. And so I think that that's where the concern and the hesitancy, I understand there's a huge time crunch here. There's a lot of other factors going into play, which is kind of why I would really like to hear from everyone else who's here. What, like, yes, you would like to move forward with these rates, or you know what, I have concerns at this time with the rates as is, to help us make an educated, informed decision.
To, to go back to the question, I guess I don't have a copy of this letter. My assumption was that the notice was also mailed out. However, there was no requirement in the law that the letter be sent out. I know that that's what the board asked for. I'm just saying that in terms of where you stand, George, to your question of on a legal footing, you have met in the requirements.
Well, anybody in the Water District 10 that's here tonight, it's anybody not for the new rate in the water district. I think that's one thing that Harry sort of going to, the public hearing was announced. We have major concerns with the. So, is there anybody that really does not want the water at the dollar figure that is supposedly determined at this point? Knowing that it may go up. Who knows? The longer it's waited on, the chances are it's gonna go higher. You very seldom see prices go there.
Correct.
At this time.
Yeah. It has to, if we have to do this again, there will be another public hearing.
And COVID was bad for everybody, and I don't think any business has seen pricing going down weekend.
Yeah, so when they finish this tonight, or if they finish this tonight, none of these costs that we've discussed can be exceeded. All maximum to that. We have to come back here for any public hearing change. Anything is possible, I guess. Yeah, I
There's
mean.
always that possibility.
I
That'd be
think if we
nice.
knew that that was a realistic possibility, we would have waited to bid the project.
Sir, you had a question? We do have a signature, yes. I mean, the petitions that we did back then, yes.
It's not locked in, it's not guaranteed. If you're on a fixed income, you're gonna fucking take it on the electric. And actually, it's not a fixed income. He's maxed out, made for it.
Right.
How are you gonna explain if the price goes up to you?
Right, so that's 1080 is where we are, that's if we move them. We wait and drag our heels, then yeah, it might go up.
But you've already said that the time is only guaranteed until November. I'm told it will be done in 3 months. So what do we do? We're only locked at a point where the price is probably gonna end up going up. So we're gonna end up back here again.
Not necessarily. The contract has 10% contingency built in. We have some leeway that if material prices increase, you need to increase the amount and to have that small amount of money that you can do that without paying. It's not like if it goes up $1, this is gonna change. You have a 10% contingency. You don't want to spend that if you don't have to though, because issues during construction.
10% of the million. Only 100.
It's 10% of 1.6. $160,000 is what the contingency is.
That doesn't look very high, the price goes up. $4 a million. Just before.
And one of the other things we did back at the beginning of this was we had a company do an income survey of all the residents in Water District 10. And we did find that the income there is quite low, the average income. So we understood that there are a number of people that are living on very fixed incomes. And that benefited us when we applied for the loans, because now we were able to get a much lower interest rate on those loans too. So that saved us money there, or saved those residents in Water District 10 money. Yes. Because what was it, about 2 years ago, I think it was, I sent out a letter to all the residents of Water District 10 at that time, asking you to please be patient because of the cost of materials and how expensive everything had gotten. We just had to wait so we could see maybe some costs coming down, so things would settle. And we're at the point now where we don't think it's going to go much lower. And now is the time where we really need to act. The comptroller's office, yes. It's anybody's guess how fast they move something across their desk. Exactly, yes.
Right.
I think we would have numbered.
Yeah.
Felt better.
Making a decision. Right.
Do all this. I just like to see personalized. This is what's gonna cost me. This is what's gonna cost a year. How many lights? How many lights?
So we can see what. I've seen. Then we can see the picture, but then we make a decision. Have it all this for that. That in 2 weeks.
And explain what the $1,080 is.
Construction costs, what else, startup. If I need to know the repair, do they have construction going in there? Especially, you know, repair and things, yeah. And there's no bickering either because it's all itemized money.
and future investment wise too, you know, of like that this is something that in the moving forward to have that water is a good thing. But it does hurt to think of people, like, you don't want to put people in a position where they can't pay their taxes because it's gone up, you know, $1,000 annually. It's hard. Was this, Sean? I'm just looking through. I've been out of town and so I haven't been reading through the penny savers like I normally do. Was this one posted in the penny saver or only in the Batavia Daily? I was going to say, if it was posted in the penny saver, I would be like, okay, even if we didn't send out the letters, I know people, like, it should have hit people where they could have looked at it and we could have said, hey, we had it. But it's hard with the Batavia Daily because
Okay.
Let's reach out. Bridget, as far as if we sent another letter to the
52 parcels total, I believe,
We sent
52
out
or 7,
the 50
57.
with more of an information sheet in that, and then get a public hearing before our next town board meeting, does that give us enough time?
However, you are the board members, so I will abide by whatever your decision is, but I think every week that goes by is a bigger chance that we do not end up having this project going forward in 2024.
okay. Bridget, can I ask another question? So let's say that tonight we vote on a resolution to go ahead and approve this at these rates. In addition to that, or to like send it to the comptrollers at these rates. In addition to that, we send a letter out to all of the parcels and with the rates actually listed out, saying that we passed this resolution, but could we say we get a majority of the residents respond back and say, no, we don't, because we know how many parcels we're reaching out to. So say a majority of the parcels reach back to us and say, we can't afford this. We can't do this. Can we withdraw it at that time? Otherwise, we would be able to continue moving forward. Is that something that's possible? Right.
Trying to get the comptroller's office to look at this faster than they ordinarily would. Getting them to look at it before November so that we can lock in our contract with GC. It's a concern. It's a very big concern of mine.
Just saying we can move forward. And then decide. No, it's dollars.
It's a
It's
contract.
Let's be realistic. It's not going to go down. So the longer.
I can answer the question about the time crunch. The time crunch is that rural development, who is the grant maker and the loan and making the loan, took a very long time to review the application and come to a complete application. And since we were, had confirmed numbers and proposal from them, Scott at MRB has moved heaven and earth to move this as fast as humanly possible, as have I and the town board. It's not a function of anything other than there are government actors involved outside of the town of Barry who have an influence on this process and a say, and we're going as fast as we possibly can at this point.
If you didn't answer my question.
There was
First meeting, there's no information. Now the attorney said, guidance. But yet down the road, we can take it back. So I would like that to be put on the record. Town attorney stresses to the board to make a decision tonight. And also stresses that later on down the road, on the record, they can take it back.
That's true of any decision this board makes, but we didn't have numbers until the bids came in. That's just the way the process works. That is what it is. So I am your attorney. I am not a member of the board. The board will take action or no action as you see fit tonight. But that's the reality about the timing concerns, because we do not control how quickly the comptroller's office moves or not.
Technically, it's just he's told me. I mean, he has no legal requirement other than the 60 days that in the bid for law.
And if it can be rescinded, it gets the wheels moving, especially when you're dealing with the government. If you can get it going forward, and then so the people decide they want it, and we decide it's a good thing, then half of it's done. If it goes the other way, we rescind it. There's no loss. It gets it moving forward, and they need more of a timeline before the contractor may decide, no, just this gets it moving forward. There's no downside of vote, say tonight, to move it forward because we can rescind it.
Scott, I just have one more question, because like my biggest concern is the financial concern, the financial burden that this puts on those in Water District 10. I think that having water for them is important. I think that that is definitely something we should be doing. Do we know what the average current tax assessment or tax roll is for those homes that so like, is this doubling there? You know what I'm saying? Like,
Assessed value for every parcel is listed.
okay.
It's probably outdated. I don't know if it's technically assessment would have updated this, but I don't have their actual tax burden on there. Their
Okay.
assessed value is on there, which I think is probably such a set figure, right?
Right.
Calculate basic assessment.
I'm just thinking, like, I know, I think the average town itself is like 1,400, not including county or school districts. And then if you add in there, that not including water rate. So just trying to kind of figure out like how much additional burden percentage wise would this be for them?
This was prepared, assessed value, 7 parcels. It's 5,227,200.
Okay.
Divided by the 57 parcels, they're just under $100,000 each.
Right.
Whatever the tax version will be on a typical $100,000 piece of property.
Right. Okay. All right. Right. I just hate to think that like people stop paying their taxes and homes, like worst case scenario, like homes are foreclosed on because of this added burden. That would be hard. But I agree with you.
Start. Less. So there is a possibility that will be.
Yeah, I mean, you have 14 at least vacant buildable lots that would then have public water. It's not heard of to see that those houses will start to build.
And if they build with that would add an EDU and then that would split everyone.
So it's up to the
Cost down.
towns, all towns do it different, either keep the debt service the same and pay it off faster, or you can divide it over more parcels and reduce the debt service. Typically done.
All right.
So many people live with all the those office.
But
Unfortunately, that's the. They have it. I mean, it was 6 to 8 months when Berger did it. That project was down 100-something-thousand feet, so that public. So last time, so at that point, they're at a home during COVID, whether it's faster now. It's, but
I'm sorry, Bridget, go ahead.
right.
Yeah, so I don't know exactly what's there, but it's possible that they're vacant with improvement, counted as half. You elect to hook up that improvement. To full. So it depends. Can't say for sure, but typically if it's in the ag district and it is in ag production, it is exempt.
Big. Vacant fields, crop fields. It depends. Barn, or store it. You can be a cat. You can be a cat. I've never seen it.
We could make it pass resolution tonight.
Pass a
To
resolution tonight, and the town attorney will tomorrow formulate the letter and send it out to the comptroller tomorrow.
And again, if there's astronomical, it can be rescinded. It's the, there's no downside. Yes.
So what if we do less than half? That's their decision. They had all the information. That's the decision. Come or not. Don't come. That's okay. But they don't have the information.
Well, that's.
Okay, okay, now the purpose of this was to talk about the cost increase, okay? Are there any questions, any further questions at this time? Okay, I thank you everyone for showing up then at this time. I'm gonna call this public hearing closed at this time. I'm sorry? I was just gonna do that, dear. Okay, so therefore, can I have a motion to close this public hearing on Water District 10 water increase?
Seconded.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. Thank you, everyone.
Are we not going into a meeting then to do a resolution?
Okay, Ken,